Welcome to a Tailgate update. Welcome to people that like
J.
winners. That like winners. And we're going to jump right into some winners.
But
Couple of losers. Before we do,
we're gonna highlight the winners, the ultimate winners, which are our subscribers, and they're the reason why we have continued. Well, in addition to our winning spirits, they're the people who keep us going for over a year now. So make sure to like, subscribe, and I may be able to buy Coach Tomlin's wife's NFL line if we get some more subscribers. We're heading towards 2,000, so we've had to really work for each one. We appreciate all of you, and let's keep it going. Let's keep those numbers pumped. So like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Ding.
it's so awesome. And we're getting into the NBA this week. And they're getting deep into the playoffs. We got some real things going on this week. Ryan, why don't you talk a little bit about the NBA, and then I'll argue with you on every point. How about that?
You're gonna argue with me on every point, okay?
Yeah.
I even know a little bit because my boyfriend was actually watching it, so.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, kind of keeping up. It was on the TV for a while.
So Steph Curry's out indefinitely with a grade 1 hamstring injury. I think he injured it in game 2.
I think it was at the end of game 1.
Okay.
Because they still held on even though he went out.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it was end of game 1.
How old is he anyway? Like 42?
No.
37?
I'm close.
Because he came in the league in 2009.
Yes.
So either way, he's older than me. So.
Everybody's older than you, Ryan.
Truth.
Yeah, he's 37. I was really close.
Yeah.
So, he's a grandpa, so,
He's a grandpa.
This is to be expected.
He said he's not going to rush his return, so he's going to be out. They said at least until after game 4, which is tonight. The series is 2-1 Minnesota. It really hasn't been close. Game 2, Golden State got blown out 117-93, and then they lost by 10 in game 3. Anthony Edwards banged up his ankle in that game. Came back though. Ant-Man was A-okay. So
yeah,
Steph's out. Jimmy Butler here to save the day, just like he was doing in Miami.
Woo. Go Jimmy.
Yeah. You can argue that point, Jay?
Maybe game 4. I mean, it hasn't really. In game 1, they held on. I mean, people were counting them out because they were with that step the whole second half, but they held them off. I mean, in Minnesota. So that's saying something. And now Minnesota's got to win game 4 just to bring it all even again.
Golden State has to
go to 3-1. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that series. The other series we have is OKC versus Denver. Denver took game 1 on a buzzer beater. I think it was Aaron Gordon that tipped it in with like 0.5 seconds left or something like that. Am I incorrect on that, Jay?
It was Aaron Gordon.
Okay. Game 2, OKC smoked them. They were up by 51. I think it's the biggest lead in any playoff game. They ended up winning 149-106. Game 3, Denver took an OT, 113-104, and then last night OKC evened it up, 92-87. What do you make of that series?
It's Denver's experience against Oklahoma City's talent. They got a huge amount of talent, and they're very deep. But in the playoffs, being deep doesn't make as much difference because of the long timeouts and the fact that you play your veterans more. So it's kind of a coaching style matchup. But I mean, it's just so rare this early in the playoffs to see like the number 1 and 2 people in the MVP race against each other. That's unusual.
SGA and Jokic, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just second round. It's not like a conference finals, in the East or
It
West or
seems like
something.
a conference finals matchup, to be honest.
It does. It feels like whichever one wins will just smoke Golden State or Minnesota. You're
You
right.
know what? I think Minnesota is dark horse in this race right here. Out of the four
Hmm.
teams remaining, I think Minnesota could probably take out any one of them.
It could be. It's just weird with the Golden State that the offense is just strictly run for Steph, and without him in there, they just kind of don't know what their role is. I mean,
Right.
Kaminga's a good one-on-one guy, and Jimmy Butler's a great one-on-one guy, and
Yeah,
but
Kerr definitely said that. He was like, Jimmy adds the ISO to our
yeah,
offense that we didn't have without him.
yeah, but they don't. They're not used to running it without him, as opposed to Minnesota. They can just throw the right now. They can just throw the ball to Ant, and then know
Mm-hmm.
that it's going to work out all right. Even though he'll do a lot of silly things, it's still for the
You
majority,
can.
it's going to be good.
Ant-Man reminds me a lot of Kobe. He reminds me of number 8 Kobe
Yeah.
a lot. So let's move over to the East.
Hmm.
Let's start with Cleveland and Indiana. So Indiana's up 3-1. They were up 2-0. All right. Second game was a buzzer beater. I believe that was Halliburton.
Yes.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Cleveland came back. Game 3, smoked them by 22 or something like that. Yeah.
It's a lot.
And then Indiana came back and said, "Okay, we'll raise you one. We'll beat you by 20."
Oh my gosh. They were so far ahead. It was 80-39 at halftime.
Yeah, I was scoreboard watching last night. I was like, "Holy shit!"
39 for a pro team.
I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
I think that's the one that I saw a little bit of, because it was like the most it beat some records, right? Like the sportscasters were talking about how it's like the most something. It was a big deal. That kind of a comeback.
41-point lead at halftime. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
For shame. For shame.
For shame. Now Cleveland is coming into the series banged up a little bit, right?
They came back game 3 full strength, but I think that at some point yesterday, Donovan Mitchell went out again.
Oh, okay.
At some point. But yeah, they had 3 guys, 3 of their 4 top scorers out for game 3. And then they,
3 of the top 4 scorers were out in game 3 and they still won by 22.
No, game 2 and they
in game 2,
lost.
okay. Gotcha.
They lost.
Gotcha.
But they came back in game 3 and they won, and then they were still there in game 4 and they lost. Indiana's got a really good 3-point shooting team.
Yeah, well, it's playoff basketball. You can't exactly live and die by the 3.
Yeah.
And hope they'll raise the trophy at the end.
Yeah. So it's just like with the 3-pointers, like with the Boston,
Okay, so yeah, that series shocked me a little bit. I thought it'd be Boston 5, but the Knicks came back from down 20 back-to-back games.
Yeah,
1 and 2.
Crazy.
Took overtime to beat Boston in game 1. And then it was a block shot on Tatum that secured game 2. And then Boston came back, won game 3, 115-93. Tonight's game 4. What are you thinking?
I think Boston does it. I mean, they've been shooting 40 and 53 pointers all year, and they haven't been missing 38 and 40 any games until a couple of days ago.
Didn't they miss 45 in game 1?
Yeah. Like I said, until a couple games ago.
Crazy. That is crazy to me.
To miss 45.
Let's not change the game plan at all. Let's just keep jacking them up.
It's going to come around.
Oh, it'll come around. Just stick with it. Just stick with it. She'll be coming around the mountain soon.
Shoot your way out of a slump, Every coach will tell you after you miss 3 long ones in a row, drive.
Well,
You'll either get a layup or get a foul. See it
It
go in the
just
bucket.
seems stubborn basketball to not just drive. Switch it up. Don't keep shooting freaking 3-pointer when it's not going in.
I know. Just because it worked last year doesn't mean it's going to work this year.
So that's it for basketball that I have.
But just think about it. In next week, we could be talking about both the Cavaliers and the Celtics being out of it. That's insane.
And we could be talking about Indiana versus New York in the conference finals.
Yeah. Oh, could we have like a $5 bill for every time that they show a flashback picture of a Reggie Miller?
Reggie Miller and Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
How many times will they show the highlight of Reggie scoring 8 points in the final 13 seconds?
Yeah, 8 points in 13 seconds. Still never been done. Never been done since. But
sure it didn't happen.
Yeah, proof it didn't happen.
Yeah. But anyway, I think Julie has some updates on some NBA injuries.
I don't, because what I thought was a more prominent injury was not, and we already discussed Grandpa Curry, so that's all I had. So I think, yeah, the injury analysis is low this week. I'm sure with everybody's advanced age, it won't be long before I get more.
Okay. Let's move into Major League Baseball then. And the season's getting cooking. There's some good rivalries going on, some good winning streaks, and some really great losing streaks. So.
Okay. What do you want to start with? You want to start with Pittsburgh?
Yeah, let's start with Pittsburgh.
Okay. So Pittsburgh Pirates have fired their manager, Derek Shelton. Started off the season 12-26. They were on a 7-game losing streak, and they've been shut up 7 times this season.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah. He was hired in 2019. He went 306 and 440 in 5 seasons with no playoff appearances.
But during the season, it's kind of rough.
And even to start the season, too. So
yeah, like, why didn't you just do this before?
They have some talent on that team. I mean, they have.
No, I'm saying, like, you didn't have enough research on this guy to decide, on the coach to decide to do it in the offseason?
Hey, man, it's a new season. Things happen.
I guess. I'm not always a fan of firing people in the middle of the season. It's kind of poor form, I think.
Well, it's also like the first quarter of the season, if you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be like,
and they're like,
like Robert Saleh and the New York Jets.
They're like, hey, this is enough. You have too much talent on this team to be this bad. Let's see here. Okay, so the next firing we have is the Rockies. Colorado Rockies have fired their longtime coach, Bud Black, after a 7-33 start.
Ooh.
So he was 9 years in Colorado. He was 544 and 690 all time, and as the skipper, and he lost 21-0 on Saturday. Sorry, he managed a team that lost 21-0 on Saturday to San Diego. And mind you, after the game, the GM backed him.
Isn't that the death knell? Usually when the
GM was like, hey, this is our guy. And like 48 hours later, they're like, bye.
That is very Sean McVay of them.
So they gave up 21 runs on 24 hits to San Diego.
No, it sounded like it was time to go, but do we have to do again? It's the mid-season drama. I don't like it.
It's not even mid-season yet.
Whatever.
I was going to say, whenever you talk about the Rockies, I can't think about Todd Helton every time.
Yeah.
You know, I love Todd Helton.
Todd Helton.
You know, Todd Helton was the quarterback that went down so that Peyton Manning could take over in Tennessee.
Oh, I think I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was season of '96, I think. So he got hurt. They brought in another guy off the bench to play the second string quarterback to play till halftime. Then after halftime, they brought in Peyton Manning. The crowd went wild.
Did they?
Yeah, they did go wild.
That was back when he had hair.
Back when his forehead wasn't the size of a 747.
He was a 4.5 head then.
Oh my God. Yeah, so that's our firings for baseball. Injury
Ouch.
news: the Reds have placed Hunter Green on the IL with a grade 1 groin strain. He was 4-2 on the year so far with a 2.36 ERA and 8 starts, 61 Ks, and 45 and 2/3 innings pitched. Pretty much carrying my fantasy team this year.
Wow. He
Yeah.
sounds good. Yeah.
Oh, he's a fireballer, man. Fireballer. In other news, though, the Cardinals and the Twins are riding 8-game win streaks.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
I need to tune in.
Yeah,
Go
Fire them, I
Cards.
guess.
And it's crazy because the Cardinals swept the Twins to start the season, and like a week ago, I was like bitching and complaining about the Cardinals.
Yeah,
now they're like, "Oh, we're going to win 8 games in a row."
Yeah, but I remember they started hot.
Yeah,
you know?
Sort of. It cooled down very, very quick.
Okay.
But that's all I have for baseball. So, any thoughts? Any questions? Any concerns?
No. Well, a lot happening for this early in the year for baseball.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm having an allergic response to our research team. So
okay.
don't mind me. He's sleeping on the job on me, so it's kind of making it yeah.
Okay.
I'm sniffling more than Ethan Klein over here.
More than who?
The YouTuber.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, he has so he
that
ends
does
up like having a lot of like nasal and like issues, and then also like tics and stuff. So no shame in the game.
Okay.
We are not ableist here, but I am taking notes.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a great line he had.
Absolutely.
But I think we're moving over to another great playoff sport right now, the National Hockey League.
The National. Oh, the show. Oh, it's so awesome right now. Before we get to that, though, we have some news to get to.
Okay.
Where should we start? Let's start off in Anaheim. So the Ducks are hiring Joel Quenneville as their new head coach after just firing Greg Cronin after 2 years.
Yeah. And that guy just got fired too, right? From somewhere else.
Quenneville?
Yeah. Remember
he resigned as the Panthers head coach in 2021. Hasn't coached since.
Okay.
He was suspended due to a legal matter. The Ducks did their own research on it and found out that he wasn't as guilty as they thought.
Sure.
So they were like, "Hey, we're gonna hire you, guy."
Sure.
So he won 3 cups with Chicago, 2010, 2013, 2015. He's second all-time in regular season wins with 969. So hopefully he can take this young squad, turn them into a playoff team, because we ain't made the playoffs in like 8 years. It's upsetting.
He wasn't as guilty as him.
That's what the interview said. That's what the article said.
They did their own research. Know their research team.
They did their own investigation.
They have the same research team as we do. The cat.
I was fixing to say, does your research team have like a sister or brother? Maybe they're using.
Yeah, that's one of the other two.
They launched their own. They launched their own investigation. They said and found out he did some work with abuse victims and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm sure he's completely
advocacy
now. Yeah. I remember like when Michael Vick did the Humane Society commercials.
Well, it takes effort, man. It takes effort.
He was required to by court to do.
A
certain amount of commercials.
Right? Yeah, but
that's
Mike
giving that energy to me.
Mike does do a foundation now for abused animals, right?
Yeah,
probably.
He does.
He's a new man, right? But it's just giving that vibe, and most people aren't. So I'm not extending the praise to.
He turned into Paul Crew for a second there for a couple of years and led the Convicts to a couple of championships over the Guards. Turned into a new man.
Look, if you win, nobody cares.
Exactly. Let's go to Utah. They finally have a team name. They're called the Mammoth. The Utah Mammoth.
Oh.
Love it. I love it.
Awesome.
I personally love it. That was the name I think I had said they were going to pick, and they should pick. They should have picked that from day one. But 850K votes were cast over multiple rounds of voting, and they settled on the Mammoth. Their logo is Chef's Kiss. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really beautiful.
It's going to look a lot better than their AAU jerseys they got going on.
Okay.
Look like they need to pay their dues every month.
But also, I love a team name that's like a singular.
Yeah. Instead of the S on the end?
The Heat, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like the Heat, the Avalanche. I mean, all those types of names are very, to me, are like very cool. The Angels, the Brewers, you know, they can go fish. I care less. Yeah. So.
They can go fish.
Yeah.
That's Jay getting real spicy over there.
Oh, Jay, I'm telling you.
Too much Diet Coke.
I think he's had too much sugar cereals over there. Now we can get into the playoffs, though.
Okay.
The playoffs I've been telling you need to watch.
I know.
I've been on you, man. I was a little disappointed when you told me you haven't been watching hockey.
I've been watching a lot of basketball, really, which I didn't expect I'd do after my team went down so unceremoniously, being undercut by Oklahoma City player, which, you know, of course, the next team up knows how that feels too. So.
Went down with a whimper?
No, being undercut by Oklahoma City player who acted apologetically afterwards. Yeah.
And Jay's been very busy both doing the podcast and writing. So he's having, you know, writing some bangers. So that requires effort that he can't extend to the NHL right now.
I can't branch out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the UFL ministry right now.
God, we're a ministry.
Yes. We're ambassadors and missionaries all put together.
All right, let's start with the West. Let's start with the West here, okay?
Okay, yeah.
So we got Winnipeg and Dallas.
Okay.
Game 1 went to Dallas. Game 2, Winnipeg won 4-0. Game 3, Dallas took 5-2. The thing about this series, okay? They're only in Game 3. Everybody else is going to be, by the end of the night, will be in Game 4.
Okay.
It goes back to my scheduling thing, man. What the hell is going on here?
Well, when you have 87 games in a week.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Another thing about the series, Mikko Rantanen has accounted for 15 out of 16 goals for Dallas. He had 3 points last night. That's all I'm gonna say. And Colorado said, "Bye." The Avalanche, the name you love so much.
I love it.
Made a stupid mistake and said, "Hey, we can't pay you, man. Go away." Dallas said, "Thank you." Staying in the West, Edmonton versus Vegas. The Golden Knights and the Oilers. Edmonton took a 2-0 lead in the series. They actually came back from multiple goal deficits in games 1 and 2. They took overtime to beat Vegas in game 2, 5-4. And game 3 was hectic at the finish. Last 5 seconds it just turned into, oh my God, tornado for Edmonton. Vegas scored with 0.4 seconds left on the clock because a puck deflected off of Leon Draisaitl's stick, and it went top shelf under the post, bounced out. So that's how it should have went to overtime. Skinner played the puck absolutely terribly, and just out of position, and just a deflection takes away overtime, and Vegas gets back into the series. Skipping over to the East, we have Toronto versus Florida. Now this series, oh my God, this series has been pissing me off to the max. Just deflections everywhere, chippiness. Last night there was a lot of chirping towards the end of the game. But Toronto took a 2-0 series lead to start the series. beating Florida 5-4 and 4-3. Like I said, a lot of deflections. Bobrovsky had no chance on a lot of those goals. Just a stick. Every time there's a shot or a pass, there's a Toronto stick in the way, and it's just irritating the hell out of me. And then game 3, Toronto got a taste of their own medicine. Brad Marchand throws a puck at the net in overtime, goes off of Toronto guy, bounces over the Toronto goalie, doesn't see it, into the net. Game over, 5-4 win for Florida. Last night, Bobrovsky gets back on track, 2-0 shutout. Series is tied at 2.
Wow.
So you guys remember Matthew Tkachuk? We were talking about him, right? Back at the Four Nations?
Yeah.
Oh, he is getting ready to get real chippy. Mm-hmm. He got hit pretty hard last night, and one of his guys, actually, he got hit simultaneously with one of his teammates. They were up against the boards, and it was like the final minutes of the game. And McMahon for Toronto takes a run at Tkachuk. Nice takes a run at freaking Sasha Barkov, takes him down on a pretty borderline hit, and Tkachuk gets right back up, and he's chirping. They're on the bench chirping to each other, and it was awesome. Tkachuk is back, full health, full strength, and it's a brand new series, brand new ball game, tied 2-2. And right now we have Carolina and Washington playing. Washington was the top seed in the East. They are actually down 2-1 to Carolina. It took OT to beat Washington in game 1, 2-1, and then game 2 Washington took it 3-1, and there's a shutout for Carolina 4-0 in game 3. Right now they're playing game 4. Last time I checked, it was 1-0 Carolina.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you get a chance, watch the playoffs, man. Watch them.
I am. I mean, once my team is out, I'll be watching them. I mean, once Denver's out, I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Once Denver's out, yeah, no one cares.
Yeah, no one cares.
No one cares.
Because if Denver and Boston are both out,
Really?
I mean, if Denver and Boston both go out, people aren't going to really care.
I don't know. I think they might. There's a lot of people who love SGA. There's a lot of people who are really rooting for the Knicks. I mean, the entire state of New York is probably rooting for the Knicks.
Yeah, but that's only one state.
That's a lot. That's a big state.
It is a big state.
It is a big state. Yeah, I know.
So that's what we got for hockey. That's what we got for basketball.
Okay.
It's been a pretty hectic, couple weeks.
It's been crazy to try to keep up. I mean, every night I'm watching at least one basketball. Mm-hmm. Some nights I'm watching parts of 2. It just depends. I mean, even if you're having a light night with the playoffs right now, you're watching 4 hours of sports every night. I mean, it's just like an overload, so. But yeah, it's a great time of year.
Even the games you watch the night before, you're waking up the next morning watching the highlights again and being like, oh, that was a great play.
Yeah, I do that.
Great game.
The team I wanted to win won. Yeah, I do that. But we're moving over to the oblong shake ball now.
Yes, the oblong shake ball where you kick it to the big H.
Yeah, let me ask Julie first about the retirement from her neck of the woods, the QB.
It seems to me that some people actually remember him fondly, which definitely is not from the past couple of years. It's probably more Raiders fans. I will not forgive him for doing that ridiculous Superman jump when they didn't need it, just to try to get more points when they're already their fate was sealed for that game. It was stupid. It was careless. And now
they're out of the playoffs too, right? At that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an unnecessary.
Right, and weren't they winning by some?
They were up 12-6 at that point, and it was going to be a first down to seal it.
Yeah.
And he still
missed unnecessary.
It. He still missed the first down by 2 yards.
And then did a crazy Superman leap. And so I'm like, if you're going to be that dumb, you can't be that old because your bones are a little too brittle now. And so to me, you have to be one or the other. And now he can go hang out with Tim Tebow in Florida and become actual ministers or whatever instead of the UFL ministry that we have today. Um,
I could see it, you know.
Literally, I'm not even joking. They could have a church together. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, so
He would have a car ministry.
Oh Lord.
yeah, where he
You said, "Oh Lord," he's already asking for it. Ryan praying live on the air.
right? He's gonna be their first Zoom member. Um, so like I don't give a shit because I wasn't impressed by anything he really did in his older years, and it's been too long since he did well, so I don't even really remember it. He was really not like I mean, I know he did some great things with the Raiders, right, in the beginning, but like I hardly even remember that.
He did some
He's always
semi-good
been
things.
he's always been just above average.
Yes, that's what I
So
was
I'm
looking
like
for. Like he was above average, regardless of where he was.
barely like a B
He's
plus,
he had one outstanding year,
B minus.
and then the next year he was doing very well. Probably could have won a playoff game, but got hurt, broke his leg, so he missed the
Yeah.
playoffs. He's
Yeah.
actually, I think he's the only quarterback to
Look like he's wearing
throw
eyeliner when he's
to
not.
throw for 40,000 yards and have 0 playoff game wins.
Stop it.
Wow.
Those are not
Yeah.
the records we like.
I just saw that last night. He's the only quarterback to throw for 40K and have 0 playoff wins.
Wow. Do you know how clutch you have to be to do that?
Not very.
In all the wrong ways, yes.
Just pat stat, man. There you go.
Yeah.
Pat your stats.
Well, Derek Carr bores me so much that I feel like we've already covered him enough. Did you go to the UFL? Did you already go to Did you go to the UFL game last Sunday? I think you did, right?
I did. Yeah, I saw the Showboats play the amazing St. Louis Battlehawks, who were as usual amazing.
Yes.
The Showboats have a pretty much half good team. The defense is very good. They have a defensive coordinator called Jaron Horton, and he was formerly with a couple of different UFL teams, and also his dad was at Pittsburgh. His dad was, I think, with the Ravens. He was a longtime defensive coordinator. And so they gave up 19 to St. Louis as a 19-9 final, but they turned the ball over. They turned the ball over once, and also they turned the ball over on downs. So those were pretty much like 10 of the points, 10 of the 19. So there was only one long drive the whole game. The Showboats looked about like usual. They looked good in spots, but their offensive line just can't handle a really good rush.
Yeah, and the Battlehawks are good, so like they're gonna prey on that kind of weakness. Yeah.
I mean, I was amazed they held them to just 19 because I've seen the Battlehawks play before. They're very effective.
Yeah, they're one of the best teams in the league. So yeah.
And their crowd was very good too. They brought probably 1,000 at least, I'd say. They were at least a third of the crowd.
That's pretty deep.
It is. It's a 3-hour drive from Memphis.
Oh,
but
really?
still,
That's it?
That's it. Yeah.
I did not know that was so close.
It is just because there's a nice highway system between St. Louis and Memphis, but still, it was a perfect time for a road game because it was 2 p.m. So you could leave in the morning, be done at 5, and be back home before bedtime.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's a good timing for the game. But it was an enjoyable game.
I think you mentioned some $2 hot dogs, if I remember.
And beer, yes, at all the different value concession stands. They didn't lower the price of the tickets, but they lowered the price of the concessions by about 2/3.
Yeah,
so
that matters.
I think that does matter, especially a hot day. A warm day in Memphis. But I always enjoy going to these games and seeing the way that it breaks out. And the Showboats, unfortunately, now I've been covering them. They're 1-6. And
But
all
their
seven
one
games.
win was against the Birmingham Stallions, which is worth pointing out
Yeah,
because that was epic, and I will never let the Stallions forget about it.
it was epic. Yeah, a road game. But they're 1-6, but they were uh, either leading or behind by less than a score in all seven games.
Yeah,
Never
right.
down by more than six or
Not a
seven.
blowout, which is
No,
worth noting. Yeah,
it
absolutely.
is because I saw them last year get blown out in several games.
Mm-hmm.
You've been
Monday.
writing some good articles on the UFL this week, along with the whole crew.
Yeah, I was a bit late with my coverage of the Brahmas and the
Houston, was it Houston last week?
God, then
Was it Arlington?
the weeks just start to blend together because I cover so many different teams, and
I know.
because we have some people who cover very specific teams, and then we have some people
And
who
you
just kind
switch
of
up. You and
I
Jamie switch
do.
up every week. Yeah.
Yeah, so I watched the Birmingham and Brahmas game.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah, so not this like very last weekend, but the one before that was what I'm caught up on. I have to get my DVR going for this weekend's games. Um and it was hard to watch. The Brahmas are not doing well. I think last season they actually did pretty good. I don't know what happened. And by pretty good I mean just not like totally being a loser. Like it was hard to watch turnover after turnover, and Birmingham was kind of on fire. And the Brahmas are kind of doing a quarterback dance. They have um three different quarterbacks, and what I thought was funny, the most bullshit and quote I think I've ever heard in my life was let me see here. Yeah, so because Kevin Hogan came in this game. He used to play for the Stallions, I believe, before. Um, so the head coach of the Brahmas, Peyton Party, said, "I believe in all three quarterbacks we have. I think they're all very talented, and they all have unique skill sets. I feel very confident." And I wrote, "Sure, Jan," right after that because all of their quarterbacks are rough. Um, yeah, they brought Hogan out and they got one field goal, and that was it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was 3 to
That's rough.
27, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that sounds
so
right. It was a blowout.
it was an absolute blowout, and so it was like, yeah, go Hogan. Oh, it reminded me of when Hulk Hogan was a heel for the first time. It
Ah,
felt,
yes.
yeah, it was sort of that energy was
Too sweet.
we didn't need
Shay
that,
gets it.
but
Shay gets it.
um so it was received about as good as that. So I would love to see what the coach plans on doing with his three very talented QBs who can't get a goddamn touchdown. um I have been covering the Brahmas for a few weeks now, so I've been kind of keeping up with them, but that's about what I have for now, but I'm sure I'll have more
Yeah, I'm not going to denigrate the Brahmas too badly because
because
Memphis has
they're the
played them
sacred voodoo
already and
cow.
lost.
Yeah, no, you two are about the same in talent levels.
Yeah, but that's and it's about close to the same, but they did beat us uh, in the battle of the can't quite make it.
But I
We
will
couldn't
say,
quite make
like,
it.
you have a very similar record, but I will say your one win was much a much bigger deal, and then also you're not getting blown out. They're getting blown out repeatedly, and so I think
Yeah,
like those do matter.
yeah. The defense is very strong, especially if you watch a UFL game coverage. Um, especially the ABC game, they do an amazing behind the scenes job of showing the coaches calling
Yeah,
plays. And I'm just always staggered by how incredibly reactive they have to be to what the offense is calling.
yeah. Remember
You
when
know,
Coach Kotite? Because I just wrote for Arab American Heritage Month. I just wrote about Coach Kotite when he had that famous quote saying, "Well, he had 8 is great," but then he also had the one where he said that he did he made the wrong call, and when they confronted him on it, he said that the rain had smeared the play calls on his board or whatever, so he didn't know what to call. That's what that reminded me of. Yeah, and they lost the game, and he didn't spend too much more time as a coach after that one because Philly got real mad when he said, "But the play call smeared." I'm like, "Sir." Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a kind of level of talent it's hard to replicate. Um, but I always kind of vote for the underdogs. I love the Houston Roughnecks still to this day, and I just kind of hope that they, you know, Birmingham can't stay on top forever, even though they absolutely demolished the Brahmas. So
Yeah, but it's just their quarterback situation is just incredible.
Matt
They've hurt.
Corral, right? Because what's his name? Alex Mc whatever, Alex M is still out because of his mom's chicken. And so it's Coral, and Coral seems to be kind of on fire. He's been there pretty much since week 1, I think, was the
Well, he came back around. He's played, yeah, most of the season. He was out for a while, then they had to start somebody else, and because
yeah.
they kept flipping early on, they never could get going well. And people made fun of us because we beat their third string quarterback when we played them. But the thing about it was, Dresser Wynn was number 3 on our depth chart too. It's
Yeah,
just a new offensive coordinator came in and said, this guy works for my system better than these other 2 guys do.
right.
So that's what he went with. And
Yeah.
plus, this guy is like so young, Dresser Wynn.
Okay.
You
Well,
know,
last week at least it was Coral at the helm when they beat the Flim Flam out of the Brahmas. So,
I'm still amazed he didn't catch on with the pros. He was very good at Ole Miss.
well, it might be, sometimes he has a hard time figuring out who's on his team and who's not. So, I would say that might be one of the reasons.
Oh yeah, I've heard of quarterbacks like that. They have, yeah,
Yeah, like,
gotcha.
oh wait, did I pass it to the wrong person? So he especially in the beginning of the season, he was giving that more. So I think it's been a learning curve, but
Okay. Yeah, let's move over to the Shield. And
mm,
I got a few opinions on things, but I'm gonna let Ryan lead off and see where this takes us.
Okay. Well, let's start off in
Shield.
Pittsburgh.
mhm.
Okay.
They're trading George Pickens. The Steelers are sending him to Dallas for pick comps.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have CD Lamb and George Pickens on opposite sides of the field.
I'm really struggling with not hating the Steelers right now, but
Yeah, so
I
I
can't
don't get
understand
this.
that.
I don't get this at all.
I don't understand
They
this.
got DK Metcalf this offseason, did they not?
I
It
had
sounds
forgotten
right.
that, but yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
They would have had Pickens and Metcalf on both sides of the field.
Mm-hmm.
They would have had
With no
Freiermuth
one to throw it to.
with no one to throw it,
Yeah, so there's
but they would
that.
have had Freiermuth at tight end.
But we didn't even know that he existed on the field until Russell Wilson, so it'd be hard to know if he would go back into oblivion or not.
Either way, he's still there. And who's their running back? They would have had Jalen Warren, who's decent running the ball. All they needed was a quarterback, and that offense would have been pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they wanted to minimize the unsportsmanlike conduct penalties on offense and decided to ship Pickens to Dallas instead. Or this just doesn't make sense to me. They had their offense all set. All they had to do was get a quarterback.
Maybe Mike Tomlin has been hiding their incompetence for a while, and now we're just seeing it in like bright color. Like maybe because they had the same QB for a while and the same coach, maybe they could kind of coast along and look like they weren't total idiots, but maybe because they've been doing a bit of a quarterback roulette, and then they've been sort of, and Tomlin is obviously still there. Maybe we're just now seeing, and maybe this has been an issue.
I think that, well, yeah, I agree with you. I think this is just the lack of preparation for a Big Ben retirement catching up to them finally.
Yes.
That makes
And
sense.
now they're trying to rely on some hippie old man making a decision on whether or not he wants to come out of his dark retreat or not.
Yeah, and that isn't going well from what I've heard. That
It just
whole
doesn't make any sense to me. Why the hell are they doing this? I
it
mean, I don't care because like I don't care for Pittsburgh at all, but
right.
like
Objectively, now that Wilson is gone, I don't really either, but it feels like they're simping really hard for this man, and I'm just trying to figure out why.
they probably could have traded up and possibly got a Jackson Dart
But instead, they
before the
want Grandpa, who's gonna, as soon
right.
as one play and his angel legs are gonna snap, and I'm just like,
I mean, if they were going to get rid of Pickens, they could have gotten him for probably a first.
mm,
Because I mean, he's put up numbers with Kenny Pickett,
yeah,
Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges.
yeah,
He puts up
definitely,
close to 1,000 and 100 every year,
yes, solid guy for sure.
and
Yeah,
and he.
the other thing I want to talk about is like the other end of the trade.
Mhm.
Now, I follow the Cowboys. It's my wife's favorite team.
Oh boy,
And
Mm.
anyway, what I'm wondering about, when's the last time you can think of a trade where you say, wow, Jerry Jones really tricked that guy? It's
yeah,
been years.
I
I do
don't
believe
think
they.
Jerry Jones is doing any of that because I think
It's
I
his
think
son, but now I
yeah,
believe.
and let's say Jerry Jones' son made that
Okay.
choice, but I think it. Why wouldn't you take the opportunity if Pittsburgh is out of their mind?
Yeah, I mean that
Right.
it was a great trade for Dallas.
Yeah, they do Pittsburgh
They were feeding on
without a doubt.
stupid. I don't know if it was a talent on their side or if they were just like, sure, we'll facilitate your idiotic plan here.
They still have Dak throwing in the ball, so
That is
Yeah.
so true.
But they also have CeeDee Lamb. So
just imagine Dak throws a 90-yard bomb to CD, and it gets called back because Pickens is 14 yards down the field grabbing somebody with a face mask.
Well, just imagine if there's another lawsuit down the road. That'll be about have a similar effect because when there's one where there's smoke, there's fire. So I'm like, he feels like a liability at this point in general. But I'm not saying that he was, that all I'm saying is that we saw some smoke. There could be some fire. I would
With
be
Pickens?
concerned. No, with Dak.
Oh, okay.
I would
Okay.
be.
oh yeah, that was an
concerned
older thing. Yeah. Yeah.
investing.
Wasn't that like a hoax thing though?
I would be concerned because often when one person files, it can be like kind of ignite more. And if like there's possible indiscretion again, where there's smoke, there's fire. So I would be concerned about investing so much into someone who one sucks at the game of football and two had that little thing. Okay, because what if he continues to suck at football and then something else comes up? You know what I mean? Like if you're
Well,
again, if they're good, no one cares, but he's not even good.
well, he'd be a highly paid football sucker.
Yeah. I'm sure the Browns will take him.
No, they're all set. They have 5 QBs to pick from. They're good.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started. Wow.
Yeah, let's not talk about Cleveland.
So
Everybody else is. So
that's
not.
that over there. That's that.
Yeah.
Jadeveon Clowney's been cut from Carolina. I believe he only played 1 year there.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Sent packing.
One of those guys that he was just such a better college player than he ever turned out in the pros.
I think the injuries really got to him quick. Like as soon as he came out of college, like injuries just punched him and just kept punching him.
First year, just boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't hardly play any at all.
Kind of reminds me of Chase Young a little bit.
Yeah. It happens. Not everybody has the physicality to get hit by a car multiple times a game, every game.
Right. The Panthers are also losing Jonathan Brooks for the year. He's recovering from his second ACL injury. So he's on the PUP list right now, and he's going to be out for the entire year. So yeah, and we talked about the Derek Carr retirement.
Mm-hmm.
He actually would have required surgery and would have been out for the year. We talked about that last week, I believe. He was staring down the barrel of a season-ending injury with the shoulder. Come to find out, after a couple scans, he had a labral tear and significant degenerative changes to the rotator cuff.
I bet.
So,
I mean, what's his name? Drew Brees can't even pick up his own kids. Like, this stuff
Drew's injury is a little bit different than Derek's.
Well, no, I'm saying like long term in the NFL is going to ruin you. Yes.
Well, Drew probably should have retired after his injury, but that surgery had prolonged his career. But he always had that problem with the shoulder.
He had to make the choice. Am I going to keep playing, or am I going to like be able to pick up my kids, you know? And that's the choice everybody has to make.
Yeah. Well, he was kind of lucky he played in New Orleans all them years, too, because they had a pretty good offensive line for many of those years.
Yeah. They had a great offense, too.
Great offense, yeah.
Great. I was going to say a nugget that I read on the internet was he's the only guy ever do 3 straight years of 50,000 yards.
Wow.
You mean 5,000?
Yeah, 5,000 in a season.
It's like 50,000.
No,
okay.
5,000 in a season, though. I mean, not many people have done that, but he did it 3 years in a row.
And I believe he also threw 7 times 5,000 yards, which is the most in NFL history.
I feel like he's a chronically overlooked man because, like,
He should have had at least 2 MVPs.
Yeah, I just feel like he's always in the shadows of old man Brady for no goddamn reason.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also, also Peyton was always like a big name.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. When he got the job, it was just...
I mean, he's more disliked now from overexposure, but he was very popular during his middle years because there were so many people that just didn't like Brady, didn't like that brashness.
I think I like retired Tom more than I like player Tom.
Not me. Turn the channel. Turn the channel. I'm sorry, man.
It's the plastic surgery that gets me a little bit.
So, this retirement for Derek Carr, he's going to be forfeiting $30 million base salary, but he's going to retain his $10 million bonus he's got coming to him.
I'm sure he'll
see. That's why he didn't do it a month ago, I'm sure.
Right, yeah. There was also some post-June. If he would have retired post-June, he would have forfeited everything. No money. You go bye-bye.
That's the thing that they're talking about with Belichick. I don't mean to throw much college football in here, but they're saying if they wait to June 1st, they can do a $1 million buyout.
Really?
Of Belichick. Yeah. It's $10 million before June 1st. But after June 1st, they can do a $1 million buyout.
What do you mean a buyout?
Like just buy his contract out and he's gone.
Yes.
They don't want him to.
He just took the job. They're already talking about buyouts?
Yeah, right. What?
He hasn't even coached a game yet at UNC.
Am I missing something? Because.
Is it because of his girlfriend?
It's because of the scandals and because of, I mean, you can be 73, but you can't act like you're 85 or 90,
Is it because he's dating a girl that's like 50 years younger than him?
Well, maybe
because she's showing up at practices and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's not just the age. I think it's her behavior at the literal football, like, operational standpoint. Like, in that interview, it really upset people how that interview went. And then, like, obviously, I also think that she probably got banned, even though that one person said that they didn't, but it didn't sound too... I'm not so sure about that. So I think, like, if you act a fool, like, it wouldn't even matter if she was 40, okay? It's obviously more shocking since she's in her 20s. But if somebody in their 40s moved in and did all this stuff, like, everybody would hate that person, too. So I think, like, it's both age and behavior of that person because, like, it's really bad.
And no one else has their agent copied in on every single email coming from the department, from players, from everything.
Yeah.
That is really creepy, intrusive behavior.
When she's not even hired by them.
No, that's the thing.
Yeah, but she has to be on all of their emails. And then she was harping on about how she wanted to separate Steve's career from his dad's career, which didn't feel as important as she thought it did. I think she could bring him to the ground. I really do. like his career and his legacy could get shat on permanently if she doesn't chill out. Because he's writing a book now. If she continues to act crazy every time he tries to do an interview or anything like that, if she takes over, I just think it could really sully him at the end, because he's already had a reputation with the media, and now he can't even do an interview without her up his ass.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's like the last coach that you would think that, oh, you need to say less. He's always said less. Okay. He's not the kind of guy to be blabbing too much. Okay.
Right.
He doesn't need somebody stepping up and telling him, okay, you need to quit talking now. He's always been the most cryptic and mysterious, kind of Phil Jackson-like,
Yeah. And
just
even still with the Manning cast, when he was there, he still was mostly still like that, for the most part.
But it was brilliant and insightful. You always thought, you never thought, oh, that's stupid. You thought, what am I missing? What am I not smart enough to understand? Mm-hmm. Which is the way all great speakers do. You walk away thinking, feeling a little smarter, but still feeling you're not as smart as they are.
And all this tomfoolery is already happening. What's going to happen? So I can see how it's kind of a liability.
I'm sorry I interrupt you with college stuff, Ryan.
No, you're good. You're good. All I had left to say was Derek Carr finished his career with 41,000 yards.
Okay.
A little over 41,000.
Yeah.
257 touchdowns on 112 interceptions.
Okay.
And a less than stellar completion percentage. So.
Okay, in 5 years, when we're on about a podcast number 290 or 95, we can talk about whether he should be a Hall of Famer or not.
Big old goose egg on that one, Bob. I'll tell you that right now.
No spoilers.
I'll tell you that right here and now.
To talk about in 4.5 years.
Here and now.
Save that for...
We're going to save it.
Holy.
We don't want somebody going back 4.5 years and saying, "Oh, Ryan said it's 0, so I'm not going to watch that episode."
No, or they can go back in time and be like, "Hey, Ryan was right. Ryan was right and is right and is going to be right and will be right."
Okay.
So, I think that's everything for today, boys, girl.
Yeah, I've got nothing much on the NFL. There hadn't been a lot of crazy crises or anything, and. Still waiting on Hard Knocks to kind of get rolling. Yep. I don't know who the team is.
OTAs just started, right?
Yeah, I think they announced it almost right after the schedule comes out. Who's the first game again, Ryan?
The Thursday night game takes place September 4th. It's going to be Dallas and Philly.
Dallas and Philly for opening night. Okay.
I feel like that should have been saved for Thanksgiving or something, but whatever.
Okay. Yeah, and I know of October the 12th in London town, it will be the Jets playing. I believe the Jaguars, but I know it's the Jets.
So nobody's gonna watch. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's kind of rough.
People in New York. There's so many people in New York. That's what Julie told me. So I'm sure
I told you that.
Oh, you told me there's so many people in New York.
Julie also lived in New York for a short time, so yeah.
Okay.
I
got you.
Do.
Yeah, you're pretty much like a bridge away, but yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I've got nothing else to share. I think we did a good job of wrapping things up.
Yeah, that was a great show. Great job for 72
Okay, well, we're
here.
still online, so we'll save the pep talk for later, but make sure to subscribe, and hit that notification bell, ding, and check us all out. Jay, give us your Twitter handle.
Ajax Allen. Ajax Memphis. It's
Yep.
Ajax Mem at the Twitter machine.
Yes, and I'm at
X,
Miller Crime. So make sure to check us both out, because we'll be highlighting all of our talented articles that
we're trying to become the best UFL wall-to-wall crew in the nation. Trying to be.
Yep.
Trying.
With 4 people. So.
Hey, 4 games, 4 people.
Okay.
It takes everyone. It takes all the different kinds, all right?
Some people with twice the staff, aren't even putting out what we're doing. So.
Right.
Boom.
Boom. Goes the dynamite.
Yeah.
All right. So, make sure to keep up with us. UFL coverage every game, every week. And we will see you next week.